Hey everybody, welcome back to another edition of Monday Night Muscle. I'm here with Sugar Sean Ray, Hall of Famer, and a guy who might be a future Hall of Famer.
And a former USA champion, Derek Lunsford, a two-time first runner-up in the 212 Olympia Championships, and you are going for the victory, I'm presuming, this coming December.
That's right. So the title of the 212 has eluded me for the last couple years. You know, I've been working very, very hard at making improvements. But yeah, gotta nail down that 212 title this year.
Well, Derek, you were right there. I mean, I remember watching you at the prejudging. It seemed like it was there for the taking. I mean, you couldn't have been really in a better spot. I mean, everything seemed to be kind of going, and all of a sudden it started going south a little bit for you. What happened?
You know, we made some errors in the last probably 12 to 24 hours. But a lot of people have asked me, oh, what did you do wrong? What, this and that. It's like, look, to be quite honest, I am very proud of the physique that we brought. I think we brought an exceptional physique. We could have been just a little bit tighter and had a little water pulled off. You know, we were just a little bit smooth compared to what we wanted to be. However, everything else, we worked very, very hard for 20 plus weeks at getting conditioned early and being very full and round and big. And we accomplished that, but we did sacrifice a little bit of dryness and hardness because of that. And to be quite fair and quite honest, I never wish for setbacks, for failures, things like that. But I don't know. I really kind of feel like it was the best thing that could have happened to me, at least like right here for me.
When round one, we'll call it, came out of the comparisons, I had Derek winning.
You know, he had the right stuff in terms of where your eye was going to go to. Mind you, Kamal is similar to myself in terms of he doesn't really come alive until he's actually fully engulfed in the pose. Typically, Kamal looks a lot better by himself, actually. Yep. You bring a guy with the wide shoulders of Derek out there and the wide sweeping quadriceps, and your eyes naturally go to Derek. But again, like you said, he kind of faded as the contest went along in terms of the round two, the second day, I should say. But Derek, you're a first-time runner-up 2 years in a row. And what you just said was prophetic in that, you know, it was probably one of the best things that could happen, because now you know you've got to go back to the drawing board and dig a little bit deeper. You don't got to go too deep, obviously. It's not like you got to redo everything in your script. You learn from your mistakes, and you're another year older. As a matter of fact, can we get your age? How old are you now?
So I just turned 27 back in May.
Yeah, and see, Kamal's got 20 years on you. You lost to a guy that's basically 20 years older than you. And the muscle quality I mentioned in the commentary, you can see the muscle maturity on Kamal, which gave him a little bit of an edge. Yep. He looked a little bit more mature, but you're coming into a situation now where you're going to have to go through a couple other new guys, right? You're going to have Keone Pearson in there and George Peterson. Yep. Are you looking anywhere other than straight ahead? Are you focusing at all on Kamal? Are you just trying to correct the mistakes that you are aware that you might have in your control?
I'm totally aware of the competition. Let's not get it mistaken. You know, we see each other on Instagram and everybody's getting put out there on different social media platforms. So I know who the competitors are, but to be quite honest, man, that's what I was saying about last year's second place was that setback. I think it actually helped me up here. It helped me just focus on my own self, my own life, my own bodybuilding. I really believe that it's what set me up moving forward. I feel like I have a different mindset where I'm only focused on myself, and I'm just going to give my best effort, which is what I always do. But like you said, we only need to fine tune a few things. So no need to go find a new coach like he didn't know what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's doing. We just need to come in just a little bit sharper, and I believe that we'll come away with that title. And that's the goal. That's the hope. That's what I believe in. And I don't need to look at any other competition for motivation or for, I got to hurry up and catch it. It's like, look, I'm going to give everything I have day in, day out, and I'm going to show up and be my best. And that's all that I want to do. If I come away with the title, which I believe that we can do, then great, man. That's exactly what we want to do. Yeah.
Obviously, we got some crazy stuff going on with the COVID and the lack of competitors. A lot of guys, we don't know if they can actually get into the States. Travel's at little just roadblock right now for a lot of these competitors. But you know what? There's a lot of guys that have been training and they will be out there, especially a couple of the new guys, Derek. So you're going to get a front and center seat to a couple of these guys making out. Most notably, George Peterson, the Bull, making his mark in the 212. What do you think of him?
I think he's fantastic. I'm not even going to beat around the bush or deny it. I think he's a phenomenal competitor. I think he's a phenomenal guy from what I've gotten to know. So I wish him all the best. I never wish anything but the competitors to be at their best. I'm a champion. There's going to be other champions on the stage. I believe they all feel the same way. They want to win just as bad as I want to win, and I want everybody to show up at their very best, and may the best man win. I hope and pray that that'll be me.
Yeah, so Derek, we saw the prize money increase across the board for the Olympians, and are you comfortable with that? I mean, there's still kind of a disparity in the Open. I mean, is the Open somewhere that you would like to graduate to, like James Flex Lewis, that he's making his comeback? Actually, he's graduating to the Open.
Yeah, there's no question that I would love to go Open, and reason being is, I'm capped at the 212 weight. I've been 212 for the last 3 years. I've made improvements. I've become a lot better bodybuilder at that weight. But look, man, I want to explode and I want to gain 20 or 30 more pounds, man. I think truly my best physique is going to be anywhere from 235 to 240. Seriously, I think I'll never be my best until I reach 230, 240. And that's what I was saying. You're asking, am I focused on other competitors? I said, no, I'm focused on myself. I want to present my best physique. I want to be respected at the end of this year for what I bring. That's it. I'm just trying to do my best to be my best. And so going Open, I believe I'll be an even better bodybuilder. So yeah, that's exactly why I intend to go Open eventually.
Well, Derek, following in the footsteps of your good buddy James Flex Lewis, who has stepped away from the 212, going into the Open, but he put 7 Olympia titles in his belt before he decided to make this jump. Now, me and Sean often talk about the business of bodybuilding. I always thought it was a smart move that he stayed there, earning those Olympia titles, going around being the best in the world. Now he makes the jump to the Open. Is that something you see yourself doing? Whether you have a 1 title or 6 or 7, or challenging for that all-time record, or something you would intend on doing a lot sooner?
So I'm saying pretty much the same as Flex always did. He said he said he was never his best at 212, and that's kind of what I'm saying too, is like we could be better if we moved up, but we're both incredibly competitive in that 212 division. We are arguably among the top of that 212. So and he has 7 titles to prove it. I have yet to earn a title, but I do believe that's in the near future. Do I want to stay for 7 years? I don't know, man. To be honest with you, Bob, I want to just focus on this year and this year only. That December date, the week before Christmas, when it rolls around, man, I just want to be respected for what I bring. I just want people to know that I am giving up everything in my life for this. I'm away from my fiance. I'm away from my family. I go to the gym every day. I come home. I eat my meals. I do my cardio. I eat, sleep, and train. This is my life, guys. And I just want people to know that I'm giving everything I possibly can to be my best. That's it.
Yeah, one of the cliches I used to say, Bob, back in the day was like, we're a warrior at war, like we're gladiators, and you got to get into that mindset. I remember Kevin Levrone, he'd come over, he'd sleep on the floor, he didn't want to mess up the bed. He just had this warrior mentality, like you got to isolate yourself. This guy's away from his family, originally in Indiana, now he's down in Florida with a trainer.
Russell Crowe, he had that same mentality.
Yeah, I mean, you got to make this sacrifice, and at the end of the day, obviously the justification for all of that would be nice for him to win the 212 championship. The question is, what is your walk-around weight in the off season, if you got to get down to 212, what are you comfortable in off season weight?
Yeah, so the last 2 years, my off season, I got up to anywhere from like probably about 255-ish, maybe 260. This year, thankfully, I kept my weight down. I was right around that 252 mark or so, but I brought it back down. I'm weighing about 245, 243 right now, which is light, but it's a much like harder, better physique at 245 than it was last year, the year before. So I'm actually thankful that I'm starting a little lighter, but actually better at the 245 mark, which we just got started the last few weeks for this year's.
Where do you think your best weight is? Clearly, you guys like Flex Lewis, he had to suck his way down to make that 212. But in your opinion, Derek, where do you feel your best weight is? Is it at 212? Is it 215, 220?
So right now, I don't think that my physique is best at 230, 235. I think I still have some fat to pull down from there. But 225 is gnarly for me, man, like gnarly. And then I have to pull down another, 10, 12 pounds. That's the part that I don't like. I feel like I sacrifice a certain look that I have from the 220s down to the 212. But if I were to have time, like in an off season, to actually build up and grow solid muscle tissue, again, I think me at 235, 240 is going to be my absolute best physique.
Yeah,
but that's in the future. That is not today.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I was wrestling with. As commentators, Bob and I, we break down these physiques and analyze them, and a lot of times we're not privy to how much you actually have to suck down. And when you suck down, sometimes you flatten out, you smooth out, and we're left to analyze what's left on stage. And you as an athlete don't have that opportunity to tell us, hey guys, I had to burn 10 pounds of muscle to just make the category. So that's where we're at a disadvantage sometimes.
Well, yeah, it is tough because, and we all get that. Like I say, Flex Lewis is probably the best example of that. He feels his weight's probably better another 10 pounds up. We're going to see that unfold at the Mr. Olympia this year as he's made the jump. But Derek, we're going to wish you the best of luck. We're just under the 5-month mark, so this is critical time coming into this now. So we're going to wish you the best, and I think we might see the best Derek Lunsford and a possible Olympia champ coming up soon.
Yeah, his time is now, right, Derek? Your time is now.
The time is now. I have no more time to waste, man.
Right.
So like I said, that title has eluded me for 2 years now, and it's time that I crack down and make it happen.
All right. Well,
Derek, train hard, be safe, and we'll see you in Vegas, brother.
Pretty well-spoken guy. Sounds like he knows what he wants. He's working with the right people down there in South Florida, and he's actually one of those guys that's given up the family in order to focus on the future, the championship.
Isn't that the mindset you need, though, Sean? I mean, don't you need to be able to sacrifice everything for that one thing? You had that mentality. A lot of the guys in your era did. That's what made it so competitive and so interesting to watch. Derek's got all the tools, man, but he knows he blew it last year.
Yeah.
He came out. I was like, we got a champ here. This guy's going to win. And as the prejudging went on, he just faded and faded and faded. He got it back for the night show, but Kamal was a little bit too strong and he's got 20 years of muscle on him. You could see the maturity difference. That was really the difference between the two, Sean.
Right.
But man, did I have him. He was right there.
Yeah, and the funny thing is he recognizes that. He actually said that that's probably the best thing that could have happened to him is actually losing, because now coming back, he's going to realize that he only has a small window of opportunity here. He's a guy like Flex Lewis who's sucking down and killing himself to make that weight, and he really wants to just open up and bodybuild.
Well, I'll say this. You never know what the protocol is, but the Olympia is probably the last place to be trying new things.
Right.
If I was given one bit of advice, is always the right ones, of course, Sean, to one of these young competitors, and we hear this so many times. How many times have we heard? What happened? Well, we decided to try something new at the Olympia?
Yeah.
This was the time to try something new? No, try something new at the beginning of the year in April or May, or don't try something new at the Olympia. Yeah. Go with what got you there.
Yeah, and the thing about it is that when you're that young and you have all those years in front of you, think about it. Kamal's got 20 years on this guy. So Derek's going to make his biggest mistakes at the biggest show, because that's where we go to see this kid. He got there like rocket speed. Him, Keon, they wind up at the Olympia. And these other smaller shows, they don't have the luxury of going to these smaller shows to make these mistakes that the masses wouldn't normally see. So they're making them on the biggest stage in front of the biggest audience, and then we've got to wait a whole nother year to correct those mistakes. But it sounds like Derek has figured it out.
Flex Lewis obviously moving off to the big boys, landed the big guys. If Derek Lunsford brings 100%, doesn't make that same mistake, learns from it, are you looking at your next 212 champ?
We could be looking at him. I mean, he definitely has the goods. That's how he wound up a two-time first runner-up. And so, again, there's those X factors of Keon coming up there and George Peterson peaking at the right time, and the absence of a James Flex Lewis. So we can't really talk about Flex in the 212 context because he's gone. That ship sailed. Now we got to talk about the best of what's left. And right now, out of all the guys, besides Kamal's got the most to lose, and we could understand that because Father Time is unbeaten.
Yeah, true.
And if he loses, we can make that exception. Look, he's 48 years old. What the heck do you expect?
Yeah.
But with Derek, he's got a lot of years ahead of him, and if he hits his peak this year, I guarantee it's a one and done, and he'll wind up in the Open in 2021.
I think, it's admirable. I think he's got a few titles to put in his back pocket before he moves on. Maybe not 7. I don't know if we'll ever see that again, at least in our lifetime.
We got to ask yourself, what's the advantage of being a 2-time or a 3-time 212 champion when it's still about the business? If he wins this title at 212, what's he going to get? $50,000 or whatnot? He could be a guy that walks into the Open category, maybe be a top 6 guy, and make that, if not more. So,
when you say the business, Sean, we've talked about this for many years now. When you talk about the business of bodybuilding, is it the money? Is it can the title actually get you more money? I think Flex Lewis did it right. He could have gone into the Open years ago. He actually did compete in the Open years ago. A lot of people don't remember.
Right.
And he actually beat a lot of those guys. He could have gone Open. He's got those proportions and that kind of muscle.
And had he did it then, it would have just been another good body.
Well, that's my question to you: is when we talk about the business of bodybuilding, is it the money or is it the combination of two? Is Derek better served? Let's just hypothetically say winning the next 3 or 4 212 Olympia championships, or moving into the Open and, like you say, maybe he's a contender but he's not winning titles. Which is better for the business?
Well, let's be clear. Derek was very clear that he was struggling to get down to 212. He's sacrificing and burning muscle to get to 212. You can only do that for so many times over and over and over again. Of course, Flex Lewis hit the wall and he's absolutely had to graduate from that division. Derek looks like he could put on a little bit more size. And so I would, if I'm him, I'm a one and done. I do the business, get the championship.
You're right. Yeah.
And then I move up because there's other pro shows out there beyond the Mr. Olympia that as an Open competitor, Derek could potentially win.
And let's face it, Sean, with the size of the lineup these days, it's not like he'd be out of place.
Right.
When you're talking about Bonac, you're talking about Flex Lewis now, you're talking about Brandon Curry.
But they're all 5'6" and under.
They're all about the same height. So it's not like there's a land of giants like what you had to compete against with the Delettes and Flex and Lavroni and all these guys.
Yeah, it wasn't fair. When I was coming up, it wasn't fair.
Nasser, you had some 6-footers next to you.
Yeah, man, it wasn't fair.
No, but you held your own, obviously, and that's what got you into the Hall of Fame. But the landscape has changed.
Yes.
Again, it's not the land of giants anymore. There's a guy or two still in there. We got the Steve Kuklos and some of the big boys, but they're still kind of coming into their own. I agree with you 100% on this one. I think Derek should have come his way, get that title, and get out of Dodge. And next time we see you on stage should be in the Open at 225, 230 pounds.
Yeah, and I think everybody will be looking forward to that competition. And I know that I will and Bob will, and we'll see that take place this December at Zappos Theater at the Planet Hollywood. For Bob Ciccarello, I'm Sean Ray.